we, in this context of MED, the need for such a portal that is really in its beginning. It's a baby, and I'm investigating it in a method of action research. Thank you. It's an action research, self-research, because I have initiated it, and I'm trying to build it very hard. And I'll tell you the story of its initiation and its process of building. Well, the idea to develop a content portal dedicated to visual literacy academic community was born out of a need which grew up in the framework of a graduate program in visual literacy in education operating in Kibbutzim College of Education in Tel-Aviv already 6 years. We'll talk about the need, why we need such a, before we go into the website itself of the portal. During the 6 years of the VLE program existence and life, it was understood that students, lecturers, and lecturers need to be updated with the new research projects and recent publications in the field and its disciplines. Also, faculty members and students have been building knowledge through the research project conducted in relation to the program. Moreover, 2 years ago was created a research group on the boundary of the fields of the VL field, comprising also members of other academic institutions in Israel, and there's Rachel Shalita, who is sitting here, who is part of this research group. So these are the needs, and you can see here the scheme on the map of our VLE MED program. In the middle, you can see the core of the topics and disciplines that are offered in the program. Semiotics, visual research, visual perception, visualization, visual communication, digital aesthetics, critical pedagogy, education via arts, and all this is surrounded by kind of satellite arts that all are directed to give power to communities in a social oriented studies, visual theater and community, dance composition, and movement and community, cinema as social mirror and change, design for education, curatorship as social activism. In all these satellites, we have some specialized courses that are elective for the students. Our students, by the way, are teachers. They are art teachers. They have a first degree in arts, but they have to be teachers in order to enroll in this MED program. Two purposes are for this portal that we are going to investigate in a short time. One purpose is to collect and assemble unities of content containing information and knowledge which reflect, relate, and express both VL issues and topics and the life and history of the VLE MED program. The other purpose is to build a large VL academic community and to serve for all professionals, researchers, and artists as well, an arena for expressions and discussions. Well, I'd like to elaborate now about the process of planning this portal, because it took a long way to plan such a portal that will actually fit this need and purposes that I just mentioned. Well, the process of planning started with the visual literacy portal has been planned by me as a personal project supported by specialists in the computerization unit of the college. I must say that an integral part of the project is the follow-up of the portal development and its constant evaluation. So that's how it is. The method of evaluation is an action research that look after its development and evaluate how the portal in its structure and in its developing is compatible with a concept that I will talk about it in a minute. The follow-up have started during the 8 past months, from March to October this year. This period was interrupted from time to time by reasons mostly due to war in the summer and difficulties to decide about how many and who can have the status of manager and writer. There was, I must say, that there was a real objection from the parts of the computerization unit of the college to distribute authorization to no more than 3 or 4 writers. And this was completely unacceptable because the portal was meant to serve an academic community of writers. So we were all this time, I was kind of struggling with the person who to persuade them to give the authorization to people that I will invite, professional people that I can invite to enroll and register to the portal as writer, okay? as contributors of material, of research, of any kind of knowledge unity or information unity that will be fit to introduce in this portal. There are the main questions that were asked during the planning of the portal. First of all, in what extent grew up an active academic community, and whether indeed a new knowledge of extensions of topics and issues took place or were constructed once the portal is on the air, right? In this paper, I propose then to present the follow-up of the process of investigation and its result. I will focus on the process of planning, the launching and the implementing of the portal, and present the first findings and very partial conclusions, because the project should be considered yet as a pilot. I said before a baby, I mean it's a baby pilot. The methodology chosen for that follow-up was, as I said, an ongoing action research, a methodology used to investigate an intervention process in order to improve and advance it in the path of its premises. These premises are embedded mostly on the nature of the visual literacy field and on visual literacy in education graduate program based on the based and built accordingly. Okay, so actually this scheme this scheme that describe the philosophy of VLE MED program actually lean and is based on what already is established as principles or some premises in consensus of visual literacy through the 50 years after the coining of the term. And in the session before, there was a discussion, what is visual literacy? I mean, what does it mean? Okay, so many papers and books were written about what does it mean, and I put together some premises that I think they are already in consensus, and they can be always opened, but I think the first premise is visual language relate and interact with other type of languages, and as such, visual literacy is incorporated in research of multi-modality of languages. We can see it in Maria Avingenou and Rune Peterson in an article from 2011, in Shohami and Waxman 2009, in Elam Billy in 2012, Jaworski and Al in 2011. Okay, these are references that basic to understand these premises. The multiliteracy, of course, based on the London Group 2000, that you are familiar maybe with their notion and terms of multiliteracies, and of course, even before Messaris 2001 and Kress and Al 2001. The second premise, I would put it as visual literacy expresses a fusion between theory and practice. We all, it's something very, very clear now, by the notion that visual literacy is based both on intellectual and experiential processes. The third one is visual literacy is embedded in cultural values. It is an integral part of cultural expression of any culture, and yet it acts also as powerful identity sign for any given culture. The above three principles or premises sum up to a synergic result. Visual literacy is both a field for theoretical research and an ethical approach which promotes visual literacy as a tool and means for developing proliferances of the empowerment of individuals and communities. Now I'll talk about the, I'd like to talk and share with you some guiding ideas of the concept. Okay, the concept that guided me and a small group in building this portal. The VL, Visual Literacy Portal, was designed in a concept which combined together a content website with a kind of social network for specialists. The planning process of the portal was based on that prior knowledge, leading to a wide deployment of information compatible with three arenas of presence. As you see here, the first, the VLE, Visual Literacy in Education Graduate Program, the Visual Literacy field, and the Visual Literacy Academic Community, VLAC. Okay, we'll look at every presence of this component. The structure as planned, we're still in the stage of planning. The VLE graduate program should be reflected in the portal through its courses, through events and activities, final projects, faculty research, and publication. The visual literacy field, its main categories would be present through disciplines, domains, subject matter, questions and themes in the field. For example, the boundary of visual literacy, studies and research, of course, in Israel and around the world, publications and events in Israel through in the context of the program and in the world. So as you see, the focus of the planning is very wide. The portal meant to be a huge one, something without end, something that we should build constantly and follow up and evaluate it also constantly. Well, the third presence is the visual literacy academic community. That is those writers who are supposed to contribute the material into the portal and bringing it alive. Without this community, without VLAC, there's no portal. I mean, this is not in this concept. That's why I had to struggle a lot with, as I mentioned before, they didn't want to give any authorization to accept for 3 people. So we overcome this also. They would, the material that they would contribute to the portal would be very various. They can put the profiles as professionals, as artists, as creators, and they can put the CV publication and publications. They can write blogs. They can put their works, the advertised events, like exhibitions, anything related to visual literacy, and put some links. So the concept as it was planned has 4 points of concept. First of all, the conceptual, the approach to the portal is conceptual, and I will explain in a minute what do I mean. The second concept or point of concept is sharing knowledge. The third is breaking the table like a pattern of the portal, and you will see in a minute. And the fourth is presenting the visual up front. And I'll show you in a minute. What I want to expand now is what do I mean by conceptual concept? Well, the conceptual approach that reveals, deploy, and expose multiple of angles, facets, and point of view. As a relevant metaphor for that approach, I found the famous ancient Egyptian painting of the garden. I'm sure everybody knows that. As it deploys in a way of conceptual sort of perspective in order to show as much as possible the most part of its plants and animals. We show all we know and not only what we can see, okay? So this is the concept of the conceptual approach. As I said before, sharing knowledge among professionals and with the wide interested public that will prepare and even be attracted to enter and to respond and comment. Well, I'd like to show you what I mean by breaking the grid. I have to go to the website then. What is it? Oh, okay. Okay. So actually, what you see here, this is the website. Okay. So the breaking grid-like pattern of regular website is here, and I explain later. This is on a WordPress platform. And the theme that is designed, and we had to, and we choose after a long search about, because this is what I wanted. I wanted a very smooth background where the visual would be up front. Well, I don't know why this is a square, and it should be circle, but you don't see any text, but you have to search it. You have to search, and then you cannot read it. It's in Hebrew, except Rachel. And you have all the categories that you are looking and reveal by, and you have to make the effort to do that, okay? I just wanted you to have a first sight of the and a feeling of the portal. We will go into each circle later on. Okay. So you can see the visual is up front. The portal was planned to include 5 main categories. Event, events, publication, disciplines, and issue, research, and publication critical to the field of visual literacy. The subcategories, I have to go back. Yeah. What you see here, I hope you, I'll make it bigger. Okay, what you see here is still in the planning stage. This is very schematic map of the categories and the subcategories as planned. So you can see questions and themes as main categories, publications, studies and research, events, and discipline. So you can see the discipline has, as up to date, the largest subcategories of all. This is the result of the actual posts that were introduced into the portal itself. But before then, it was planned to be so. What you see in the left is concerned and relating to the VLAC members. We are now only 8 members, or 8 people who introduced and contribute to the portal, and I will discuss it later. I want to give you just an image of what I had in mind in planning these categories, and what would be the interface or the connection between these categories, of course, by what the members or the contributors, the writers will will contribute. Okay, so this is a very schematic envision of interfaces of the main categories. They are connect all of them. They have areas of encounter and how do you call overlapping between them, and these overlapping areas are supposed to be the areas that generate knowledge. Okay, the connection between those area or those presence. Okay, I had in mind just a connection between two members where they have in common one subcategory. Okay? One subcategory is the IVLA in education. That means the graduate program. Well, this is me, and this is one of the graduates that I invited to contribute to the portal. And he's an artist, and he's doing an art-based research, and he would be interested in visual arts and art education, and I'm interested in visual culture. I'll put probably material related to that. I'm interested in design education, in communities empowerment, and the tags that will unite us will be, I envisioned, visual education, visualization, community art, art exhibition, and maybe more. So this is just a schematic scenario for possible shared categories and tags. Well, I mentioned before the selection of theme, and we have a really hard time to find something that will fit our vision, and we find it in the spoon. How do you pronounce it? Spun theme. Everybody knows what theme means. Caroline Moore is a website designer, and she's designing forms for WordPress. So she designed many themes, and this is one of them that we have chosen to fit into our portal. Well, this is what she writes, how she describes this theme. She say Span is a clean, lightweight, responsive theme that steps out of the way to put the focus on your content. Okay, so this is a kind of advertising and characterizing of the theme. Also important, she's stressing the span looks, that the span looks best if you set a feature image to represent each of your posts on the blog index and archives. If no feature image is assigned, then the theme will attempt to pull the first attached image from the post. Okay, the main thing is that the person who contribute a post will probably, or should probably, choose an image that will show up in one of the circle or that represent his or her post. And so there is a connection, that will be a connection, and I show you in my findings what kind of connections was created between images and the content of the post, okay? And this is very interesting, and we'll see then. Okay, well, I'll go now to the portal itself. Just a minute. Okay, there's you see the circles in black and white, and in order to oh, it's too sensitive here. Yeah. So if you go into one of them, sorry, this is one of the circles. If you go inside, first of all, you see that it takes colors, and this is, you cannot read it, but this is one of the posts that contributed one of our professors, and he wrote a small article that is called "From Media to New Media," because this is his specialty. And he is devoting his article to the publication of Lev Manovich. I don't know if you are familiar with Lev Manovich, and especially in about his book, Software Takes Command. I cannot expand more because I want to go to other examples. Okay, just I want to show you what a person should do. Or for example, if I just a minute, yeah. So you see IVLA. I go to IVLA. This is a post that I introduced. No. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. So you can see that I introduced from the website, from the IVLA website, about us, and then the history of just a minute, the history of IVLA. You can read it. So it's very good because it takes also Hebrew and English. There's no any problem. And if I want, for example, to see what categories and what tags I tagged this post, I go to editing, and you see in the left, right, in the left side, the whole categories and subcategories are here. So I marked it as study and research, as of course as an association and academic center, because it is connected to the content of the post, all kinds of issues of visual literacy, the visual as a thinking tool, the visual as a language, and so on and so forth. So, and then I can add category if I want. For example, there is no categories that fit the content, and I can, or whoever is contributing the post can do that, which is good. This is a very it shows flexibility of the theme. Also, you can see the tags. Just a minute. Yeah, you can see the tags, and you can see that the logo of IVLA, that I think we should preserve it as it was, is in the circle. So this is the system of contributing posts, and the same space of the post can serve any content. It can serve a profile, it can serve a blog, it can serve a work of art, it can serve anything you would like to introduce. So this is working quite well. I'd like to now to go back. Sorry, I'm not used to. Yeah, I go to the website. Okay, some of I will conclude with some of the finding or some of the facts that about the situation of the portal now. Some numbers: 15 person answered me with a promise and willingness to register as writer and contribute to the portal. Up to today, only 8 kept the promise. Some were complaining about technical problems or lack of time. In the meantime, I wrote most of the posts in order to give it some life. So far, I have contributed 22 posts out of the 30 posts in existence. What you see here is not all the posts. You have to, you can go. No, it's in the other side. Oh, yeah, it takes time. So you can see all. They allow only 10 circles or 10 posts showing in the screen. So I cannot go into each circle, but I want to draw your attention to this one. This one is, of course, the conference in Toledo Art Museum, and we can. This is just the announcement, and a link to the website, so a person can go and explore by himself or by herself further information and knowledge. As I said, I contributed 22 posts out of the 30 posts in existence, and only 10 comments were written. Again, mostly by me, to the post of contributors, who I wrote to them about what they contributed and asked questions, which only two of them answered to my comments. With one of them, I had developed a quite interesting sort of conversation that I will not be able to expand here because of the time. But as I said, this is still a baby. In parallel, right. Another point of finding, cancellation of hierarchies. I found out, I realized, if I go back to the main screen. That here you don't see a real separation between main categories and subcategories, which is revealing again the flexibility of this theme and the portal. So there is no, it's a kind of chaotic, but if you think about the main categories that I decided about, can be a subcategory in itself to another category. So the whole linear way of dividing categories is in question here because of the theme. And this is very interesting for me, because first of all, you don't see the text immediately, and then when you reveal it, you don't see a very clear-cut main categories that having underneath the subcategories. This is an interesting point. Another interesting point in the findings were the additional categories and subcategories that were added by the writers. For example, this post was written about I'm with you all days, and he meant by that maps or feeling maps of sound and music. Okay, so he had to add the category of visualizing music. Okay, because he's giving a list of many clips of what he calls counter music or counter music of it can be techno and all kind of trance music and so on. So the visualizing of music through this clip was given a new category, and this is only an example that I also mentioned before. Other categories that were mentioned, were added, or the category of story, short stories, that is, it is containing a lot of images in words, music clips, language as images, photograph panel, because we had a photograph panel that discussed about the program and the boundaries of visual literacy. We photographed it, and this was tagged as an event of photographed discussion. What else? The final thing that I found is in terms of relation between text and image. I examined it on the light of the functionality of the image in this system to act as a gate or a window to the content of the post, and yet an integral part of it. It's not just a gate, but it is part of the material, part of the content, an important part. So I have found 3 types of relationship between image and content, which is mostly expressed by linguistic texts. The first one is metaphoric, indirect, symbolic, or indexial in Charles Peirce's distinction. The relationship or the relation between the signifier and the signified is rather arbitrary and associative. Further on, a grass to the a feather on grass. Yes, I want to show you this example. It's not this. Sorry. How do I don't know how to go back. Maybe this. To the bottom.
And you're trying to get back on.
Back to you.
That's here.
This one. Yeah. I have to find it. So maybe I'll take another example. This one. This one is wow. I'm going. Okay. I'm sorry, this is a little bit yeah. There's no metaphoric here. Maybe here. Yes, and this is what I mentioned before, a feather on a grass. I didn't touch it, which is metaphoric to the content of a comment of one of the professors to an event in the program. So I found it I introduced this image because I found it very interesting, the way he was commenting to the event, and I found it something very flu. The content was very flu, so I suggested him to put this fellow in the grass, and I have difficulties to manipulate this, so I will not show you examples, but I found the second relation between text and image was a direct informative or iconic in Charles Peirce's distinction, an image expressing directly the subject of the content, where the signifier is close to its signified. For example, book binding of publication, we have seen this maybe the publication of visual culture. The connection with the content is cut clear and direct, and the content, the text is reviewing the publication. So it is, I tagged it directly informative. The third relation between text and image is metonymic, where an image is representing the whole content as a part of the whole. Drawing of Escher in mathematical artists, the mathematical artist representing part of a course that Professor Yoshafat Givon is giving, and he wrote about his course, as well as the yellow arrow, which is a modern indication to the way of the pilgrimage of Santiago de Compostela, Spain, and is part of a course I'm giving about visual communication from the cave to the saloon. These are so far the relations between text and image that I found. My very temporal understanding of this rather short span of time in terms of how should I proceed as a manager of the portal from this stage of evolution is the following. One, the portal, as I said, is still in a very beginning. Additional efforts should be done on persuading the invited person to contribute and comment with additional explanation about the rationale and of the portal and its potential. It's not very clear. Two, as a manager, I can improve the existing posts with complementary information, enrich the media, and add more posts covering categories and subcategories with fewer posts, especially relating to the live events and projects related to VLE graduate program. And third, I will be glad to have your comments and suggestions to how to proceed. Thank you very much.